Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Divine Truth News. I'm here joined for part three, episode three, with brother Galactic Clyde, and we have been breaking down the spiritual significance of the new movie Avatar 2, which is on your screens now. And it is parts of the movie are very disturbing, definitely. And I don't think that has been brought out in a lot of the people that have reviewed it. Um, However, our brother here has some very important aspects of the movie that you need to pay attention to because we know that these are not just movies, these are messages. It is written in the military that movies are used to tell us what's happening. There's the Smith-Monk Act, I think it's 1948. There's also Operation Mockingbird, which is a military program, which also shows where they use popular TV series and movies to be able to tell us what's happening. And so Avatar 2, with the graphic scenes of war and destruction being waged upon an indigenous people that has the same type of hairstyles as us. It's clearly the indigenous people that they are attacking, and we are under attack. We are aware of this, and this is happening as we speak. World War III is being depicted all over the world. They're trying to bring in new lockdowns, and so this is critical information, everybody. It's not just for entertainment value. This is to educate yourself on what is unfolding in your life, why you are seeing what you are seeing on the screens today. And so, Brother Clyde, you wanted to talk about a very important part in regards to the destruction and the purpose of this destruction. So I hand over to you.
Yeah, I think just before we close that part, I was going to touch on the medical intrusion in connection to nature, what they're doing, dissecting animals, different types of animals, the wildlife, what they're doing in terms of in the name of medical research, as opposed to the ancient world and how we go about research in terms of for medicine in terms of nature, because with the ancient world it was about connecting with the ancestors, connecting with with spirit guide, and getting direct message in terms of healing, connecting with plants and connecting so that we understand and the interconnection, the symbiotic relationship with us and nature. And a lot of our healing technology has come to direct communion with nature, where when you look at modern science, or what so-called modern science as it is, it's all about the intrusion and destruction of nature in terms of gaining some kind of knowledge, dissecting different animals, insects and mammals and all of this stuff that they're doing. And if we have to look at the totality of what they're doing, it's very, very destructive. But many of us don't get to see it, so we don't think that is happening in the name of medical advancement, which is actually not advancement, because they have not really advanced medically in terms of true healing in that sense, because most of the knowledge onto healing is still coming from the world of natural remedies and natural herbs and stuff. And as an herbalist, I know this, I've got direct information coming from ancestral spirit or coming from the divine in connection to health and healing. And even just the other day, I was watching a man there on YouTube talking about the importance of celery juice, and he said the information just came to him in direct. He just get it direct into his thoughts, and these are ways of healing, you know. But when you come on to, you know, when we look at the movie Avatar and we see all the offense that's going on in connection to killing of large mammals in terms of dissecting them for for medical purposes, and what they've done in terms of carbon blueprint in terms of destruction of nature, you know, it's nothing new in terms of what's been happening, because it's happening in the medical institution, in the scientific world of medicine, and what they've been doing, and in the military research, because it's all linked. And that's what we have to, and that's what the movie is showing you, that the medical, the biology, the scientists, all of these are all linked with the military.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
if you look at, there is a gang stalking manual which was Riley, what's her name? Riley Kilner, which she was a medical doctor in Finland that she got assassinated. She was a targeted individual. And one of the things she did release before her death was she exposed the manual in how they are destroying people. And what you see is the medical fraternity alongside psychiatry, alongside the military industrial complex, inside also education. It's all linked together, you know, in terms of policing. It's all being used to the destruction of individuals right now. And so, you know, it's not just even the marine world, we're talking about the rainforest, the
Biology.
destruction of the rainforest and the natural world. This is the brutalization, this is the glorification of the brutalization of the natural world, everything that is natural and spiritual, the spiritual kingdoms right now. And, you know, one of the things is that we have to be able to stand up and say no. And this is what we are having happen right now. We have these same people who are hell-bent on hell and destruction telling us about their climate change, where we're the biggest offenders of climate change atrocities. We have the people that are perpetrating the crimes, pushing the remedy for their crimes onto the people who can barely even afford to heat their houses, let alone create a carbon footprint. You know, it's an absolute disgrace. And on the basis of that disgrace, they're trying to lock humanity into a slave trade, into a prison slave trade, and subject us to brutalization. This is what they have coming. They have
Yes.
everything that we're seeing in that movie. We have it. They have it lined up for every single one of us, and we're a dot away from it. I've been showing you there's the channels. If you look at the Canadian Preppers channel, I think there's a Funky Prepper. There's a various channels on YouTube that show you that World War III is the same kind of destruction that is being depicted in Avatar is being played onto the main stage right now, people. And so this, what we're talking about, is not just a movie. It is predictive programming, and it is there to show us what they intend to do and what they're already doing. And it's up to humanity to say, no more of this, no more of these people. So, brother, when we look at the destruction, always there is no value for human beings, no value for life, no value for the marine world, no value for the rainforest, and the whole value is on destruction and monetary gain from that destruction.
And it falls in line when you think about such scriptures as the the Indian scripture dealing with this timeline of where we are. You know, the
Is it Bhagavad
Bhagavad
Gita?
Gita. Yeah, it talks about the timeline. It talks about the age of the Shiva and where we at, which is really represents destruction. But it's also, you know, at the
Or
end of
Kali,
The Kali Yuga, yes, the
age of
Kali Yuga.
Kali.
Sorry, I said Shiva, yeah, Kali Yuga. So at the
Yes.
end of the Kali Yuga,
Age.
we have the 10th avatar, which is the next avatar, which is scheduled to be on the scene. Some people believe from 2022 to 2025 that the avatar would be present, or some people already said that the avatar is already present, but it's just a matter of time. There's different things about that. But what it also said that the avatar comes at a time like the time we're in, where everything is downward, where the ancient Egyptian called Isfit and Ma'at. Isfit is considered unrighteousness, unruly, ungodliness, negativity on a mass scale. That's
Yes.
Isfit, nature of
Disagreeable
Isfit, what
spirits.
is known in the scriptures, Satan. And then you have the balance of Isfit, or the power that balance that is Ma'at. And Ma'at is righteousness and all the goodness in terms of life, and, you know, the greatness in life. So, you know, and it also says in the ancient thing that we also have to trample down evil. We're not supposed to be laughing and having it as fun and game, but that's what they're playing out as if it's just a sport or it's just a fun and game, just like how the Romans was doing in the arenas. We have to trample, we have to stand up, we have to speak out against these things. And so when I watched the Avatar movie, I thought, no, I remember I called you up and I said, no, we need to do this talk to really let people know this, for all this money they're spending is, there's no message here, except more destruction. There's no message here in terms of carbon footprint, except more carbon footprints and more negative. No way out, no real spiritual message in connection to the title, the name of the avatar. So we have to put it, no, it's not an avatar. It's a CIG, it's a computer generated imagery, and it's part of the technology that they try to bring into our attention and under the guise of so-called avatar. No, where avatar is about accessing the divine to the human, to humanity. And this is not about accessing any computerized system of control for humanity. So it's not
Yes.
about avatar.
Okay,
Yeah.
the parts where, I don't know, did you see the whole movie or did you get tired of it and abandon ship?
No. I watched the whole movie. I watched it
Okay.
right through, right through.
Okay,
Yes.
so towards the end, you know, when they show you those little delicate kind of floating and the fish spirits when they
Yes.
were
Yes.
trapped, you know,
Yes.
under the sea and basically, sorry, spoiler alert, people, but the spirit guides
Yes.
guided
Yes.
them,
Yes.
and there was a message of that, and there was the understanding of that, the understanding that there's always spirit is always present, even in your darkest moments, in our darkest hour. And as a humanity, we're going through a very dark period in history, and in terms of what the scale of the destruction that they have in store for us right now, that is being
Yes.
planned. It's already in all of their, if you look at The Simpsons, you can already pull up new movies of people scrambling for food. You know, they're shutting down all the services. We've never seen as many services are striking than ever before. They're deliberately pulling the plug on everything. They're shutting down all the banks. It's to create the most mass dystopian nightmare destruction. The
Yes.
important thing for people to remember is that the people who are implementing these these new mandates of people
Mm-hmm.
being locked down, these are
Mm-hmm.
people who are involved in serial killing and murder on a
Okay.
mass scale, genocide. And this is who you are leaving the power in the hands of when we do not speak up and rise up, brother. And that is what is shown in the movie. However, they also showed that the spiritual world is much more powerful. When the
Yes.
people tuned in to when the people of Pandora tuned into their divine power, they were able to mess those machines up. But from you, as you said before, it wasn't really, they used spears and arrows. Spiritual power doesn't work like that. And you said that very, very clearly.
Yes.
And that is something that is very much shown in different spiritual African systems, for instance, like the Ifa or even the Orishas. You know, when we look at Shango or Batala, um, Yemeya, and we look at all the different uh, deities and different forces that we have.
Okay.
We have access to that. So, did you not see that being coming through, or not?
Okay.
Was
Let
it
me
a
talk about
mockery?
yes, let me talk about that because yes, there's some scenes there that you can say it represents the height of spirituality. If you look at there's a few things that was different. And this is goes for people who are considered different because the lady in the movie was seen different. The brother there who was there were two brothers, but one was seems like he was different from the other one that went out and they leave him out there, way out there, and he got caught up with the fish that wanted to kill him. He was different. The fish that was different as well because he actually knew what happens, and even though they were supposed to maintain the peace, he maintained the information that he was able to pass to the other guy when the guy went into his belly and tapped into his akashic record and realized what has been bothering the whale or whatever that mammal is. Yeah.
Spoiler
So
alert,
they
people,
were,
spoiler
yeah,
alert. So basically, for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, we don't want to spoil it for you. So just doing a spoiler alert.
yeah.
We are
Sorry.
referencing some aspects of the movie, but there was a scene where Sully's has two sons now. He has two
Yes,
sons and two daughters, actually, isn't it? It's
yes,
four
yes.
children altogether. And basically, one of the sons had befriended a mammal, a large mammal who had been shunned. He
Yeah.
had been shunned, this large mammal, because they perceived him to be a killer whale. However, the boy discovered he was not a killer, and it was actually the sky people who they describe as white people. The sky people are the white people, really. There was one Japanese Oriental woman who was controlling one of the powering one of the machines that were firing destruction and the bullets.
Harpoon machines.
Yeah,
Harpoon machines. Yes.
harpoon machines. However, the reality is that the people who were responsible for the destruction is the white people. It was clear, and it's clear that they know that they are destroyers of the world. It's clear that, but obviously we're not talking about white people in terms of all white people. We're talking about, like you said, the Bilderbergs and
We're
these
talking about
people,
secret society, new world order
people that are
people. I think we have
controlling
to give them a,
these.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's not
Yes,
the
yes.
everyday people who don't have power. It's people that are drunk on power that are abusing those powers and have been abusing those powers for a very long time. So, it was there was a very clear connection that we, in terms of the people of Pandora, the tribes of Pandora, because in this particular part, you see the land people seek asylum with the water people, the marine
Right.
people, because their lives are in danger. And pretty much like us that have to find safe houses or whatever, they've gone to their neighbors and said, look, we're in danger. And basically, these people, the sky people, the white people, have tracked these people down to kill them. Not for any benefit, really. It is for gain, it is for ego purposes, and you see everything playing out. This is what got me. It's all playing out, but the message was there, brother, that
Well,
ultimately.
yes, I wanted to touch on the lady because that lady who when she tapped into the mystic tree, when she connected to the what they call the mystic tree, or the spirit tree, she
You
was
mean one
able
of
to
the
view her.
children?
Yeah, the one that was seems different, and you can see that her power was
That is one
very.
of Sully's children. Had one
Yes,
daughter that was a little bit of a kind of a lone spirit, really.
right, yeah, but she was very, very spiritual because she was very adapt to the water very quickly, adapt to the stars very quickly. But also when she connect to the tree to find out what was her issue, then she realized that she's connected to one of the biologists. Well, was her parents. There's an interconnection with she and the biologist. I don't know if you noticed that. Because when she tapped into the tree, she realized the woman was her mother
No, the
or some
mother.
connection with her. Eh?
No, no, the mother was the wife of Sully. Her mother and father was Sully, and the other, I've forgotten the the name of the indigenous character, but played by the beautiful actress. What's her name in real life?
I don't know who you're referring to.
The main character, there's the couple, the Sully and what's his wife
Oh,
called? The
okay.
main
No,
character,
I don't know them.
Salma or something. Anyway, the character that you're describing is the daughter of the
Right, yes. What I'm saying, when she connect to the tree, yeah, you notice that she was very much connected to the stellar world and the world of the light beings. Because remember, when Solida was trapped and the mother was trapped, she was able to bring all the light beings down
That's right.
onto into the thing and shed light to bring them out of the darkness. You understand? Which is also, it's a very mystical terminology, bringing light out of darkness or bringing light into darkness in terms of that. But you can see that even throughout the fight, her her fight was very on the spiritual level. She was very much connected with the elements, whether it's the water or the land. Even from the first movie, and you can see when she tapped into the spirit tree, she was able to connect with the light beings, and so she's always handle things in connection to the light being. So the scene of she going in there with the light and help to bring her parents, but mother and father out of that trap when they were
Out of
trapped.
danger, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
So that was,
message,
yeah.
sorry to
Yeah.
cut you, brother, go
But
ahead.
it's nothing new to say that is taken away or adding to that whole connection to when you're spiritual. These are the things that you're able to achieve. But when I'm saying with an overall message for young people or for the next generation in terms of this movie, is just that you cannot trust the military, you cannot trust the scientists, you cannot trust the different biologists and different scientific community in connection to their ability to protect and serve. You understand? Because nothing wrong to study other life forms, but it's what this leads to. It leads to a control mechanism. It leads to a destruction of the other life form, and not because you see all those weapons and harpoons they build for this against this life form. It's not about bringing sustainability. It's not about bringing anything of substance. It's about destroying. It's about control. It's about manipulation. And
Mm-hmm.
even from the land, and it's interesting astrologically because the land and the water is connected.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
astrology, all water signs and all earth signs are very much mutual relationship to each
That
other.
that
Yeah.
definitely. Are we mutable signs? It
Eh?
just depends what sign it is, really.
It's called a sextile in astrology.
Yes,
the
yes.
water the water and the earth is connected, and the air and the fire is connected like that.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. There is
Yeah.
definitely a symbiosis whereby we, I mean, as an earth sign person, I'm a Virgo, as you know, I do connect very much with water signs,
Yes.
Scorpio, Cancerians, Pisceans,
Yes.
the more on the emphasis of, I have a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
Capricorns, a lot of Taurians. I gravitate, but then on another level, because I have air in my chart, my Venus is in Libra.
Mm.
So basically, I gravitate towards air people as well. So, so
Uh,
yeah, but there is, as you're a fire sign, I know you're a fire sign, so you would attract a lot of air people as well. It depends with the positioning, obviously, in astrology. But what I would say, in terms of your assessment, it's so important what you've just said, because these are the people who are bringing us into the age of destruction. This is what they're trying to do. Because in astrology right now, would you agree? Obviously, we still have Taurus, Uranus is still in Taurus, it's
mhm.
still over Taurus, and it's still got another, I think it's another 4 years or so to go before it hits its mark to complete the 7 year evolution. And so from a cosmic perspective now, what in terms of the movie, we're talking about obviously the marine life and the earth
Yeah.
connection. From a cosmic position, what was it that you picked up on that level?
Well, that's opened up a whole new avenue here, because we're going into what I coin slippery 2023, and I said slippery 2023 because we're in Mercury retrograde. Mercury went retrograde the other day, and we're
Yes.
moving to the new year under Mercury retrograde. Also, tomorrow we would enter the kin that is gonna be the synchronic code for 2023. The synchronic code is kin number 227, which is activated from tomorrow. But we wouldn't be, when I say activated, it would be the kin for tomorrow, which is Saturday. But
When
when
you
we
say
enter the
king, you say king,
king,
King.
the king is dealing with the Mayan system of astrology, which each day is have a king that is ruled, which is a number king that is ruled from the Zolkin chart. And so when we enter that site, that kin, which is going to be on the 31st, it's also going to be the ruling kin for the ruling synchronic code for the year 2023. And it's located in what is called the Green Castle of Enchantment. So having that as the ruling synchronic code mean that we're in a year that is going to be very enchanting.
Okay, so
When
we
I
have to
coined
be
the phrase,
careful, would you
yeah,
say, in terms of deception and people being able to pull, because in order for them to carry out any of these things, there needs to be deception. And we have to be aware that these people have killed their own people. They've killed their own people in 9/11, 7/7, Grenfell Tower. These people have been killing their own people. We've witnessed them, taking over energy companies in order to weaponize these companies to burn buildings down in order to take targets out. This is what's happening, and these are the people you're putting your powers and your taxpayers' dollars in the hands of. These are the people that you are allowing. These are criminals. These are criminals who have never had accountability for any of their crimes. And this is why each crime gets worse and worse and worse. We've had, I don't know how many hundreds of lawyers and doctors who have literally debunked the whole COVID situation and what they're pulling up. If you look at the documentary A Good Death, then there's another new documentary that's come out called Died Suddenly, which is in relation to all the people who are dying suddenly since having this jab. So when you look at all of these collectively together, we're looking at mammoth crimes against humanity that are taking place that have never been accounted for, and they don't intend to be accounted for. And this is the reason why they want to bring about World War III in order to create mass destruction so that nobody will ever account ever for the crimes that are happening. And so this is why it's so important what you've just said there, brother, because these are people who are basically incarcerating the rest of the world for the crimes that they have perpetuated, because the
yes, well,
system
yeah,
that they're
yeah,
bringing
well,
about of lockdowns are lockups. These are
yeah,
these are prison systems. A lot of the terms, tiers, they're all prison systems and prison terms. And the reality is that they're offsetting their karma and giving their karma to the rest of the world. The rest of the world should have had these people incarcerated for crimes against humanity decades ago, decades ago. And so these same people are out there creating the same mass destruction, and they are seeking to perpetuate it upon the rest of the world if you stay quiet and you pretend like you don't know what's happening. And so
yeah.
that's why you're saying is so important, brother.
Okay, I wouldn't say offsetting their karma, they're actually speeding up their karma. Yes,
Well, no,
because
they're
the
trying to, that we know they're speeding up their karma, but the
right,
plan is to offset their karma onto. So basically, they're setting it up that all the different cities all over the world, all the different area codes are going to have gates and locks. So people are locked into their communities. You won't be able to shop unless they're shutting all the banks down, all of the major banks. And I recommend that you watch my video that I just said, urgent warning video, time is up video. Have a look at that. Please watch it and like, share, subscribe, share it viral all over the world, people, to show people what's going on. But all of the banks are closing down. The whole system is closing down. Police stations are going to be closing down. Hospitals and emergency services are being closed down. Everything that we know as protective services are grinding to a halt. They're putting in a system whereby they will be in ultimate control. You will not be able to have a garden. You will not be able to drive a car. This is happening right now in places like Hampshire, Oxfordshire. This is already here. In parts of France, it's already here. It's already around the world. So they're putting this grid, locking people, and they need you to be locked into this system in order for them to be successful. In order for them to, because once you put into that checkmate situation, you will never come out again. And they're selling these climate change situations as being wonderful places. Someone said, "Oh, I heard they're really lovely. I heard they've got swimming pools." And this whole lockdown 15-minute city is looking supposed to be so fantastic when in reality it's straight out of Nazi Germany. Have you ever seen the movie Boy with the Striped Pajamas, brother?
I think I've seen that. I don't recall I don't recall much of it, but I'm familiar with the
Well,
movie, but I
basically,
don't recall it. Yeah.
in that movie, they show that they advertise these concentration camps as being these wonderful places where they have lovely cuisine and lovely food. And what it really was the gas chamber. And people wanted to go there, and that's how they're selling these 15-minute cities right now. So in terms of the message right now, brother, ultimately, what should be the takeaway for people from
Well,
Avatar?
yeah, well, what you're saying there, with what you're saying there, what come to mind is Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh sing a song there, and I think I think the album is either the song is Jagide was the name of the song or part of the album, and he quote a very important scripture that we need to actually realize at this time, and the scripture is fret not thyself because of evildoers, and it's very important. You understand? Is very important is this time because they have a lot of plans, yeah, and a
Mm,
lot of where there's a saying, and you're familiar with that saying from that come from Jamaica. When man plan, God wipe out. You know what I mean? So
mm,
they're gonna have a lot of plans, and they do have a lot of plans, but a lot of their plans, what that meant for evil, would turn around for the good of the people. And
that's
that's how
right.
it always be down to the ages. So
That's
even though
right.
they maybe plan to wipe us all out or whatever, they don't have the final say.
Mm,
And these are things that people need to realize. And
mhm.
these are the things that happens to help us to tune in to our divine essence or divine self and to tune in to divine powers.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And this is very important because even as you see the lady in the movie, she tuned into the divine under the spirit tree in that sense and able to realize even when the guy was leave out there by his friends, who was making a prank on him, he was left out there in no way,
Spoiler
in
alert,
like,
people.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was left out there, and you watch the movie like how he's gonna get in, and then he was approached by this big fish that wanted to hunt him down to take his life, and he was far away from home where they tell him not to go. But when you're connected, you're being guided, and this is very important. I repeat that. When you're connected, you're being guided. So
absolutely.
I'm saying to people, seek connection. Seek to be connected to your divinity, your divine essence or divine self, so that you can be guided. Because time and time, those who are connected are always be guided. And
Yes,
in one sense, we are connected. We just don't pay attention to the messages. We don't pay attention to the guidance. We don't pay to the even the simple things that comes to help us to understand our connection to the creator or to the divine. And so it's very important to understand when we're connected, we're guided.
absolutely. Just a quick mention. I think you misunderstood the big shark in the movie, or wasn't a shark, but he was
Like a whale, yeah.
like a whale, a huge big creature. But he befriended the boy, and they had a bond. They had a beautiful bond. The boy
Yeah.
recognized because he saved the boy, because they put a prank on him and they wanted
They
to
save each other.
yeah, they saved
But
each
go
other.
ahead.
But what it
Yeah.
showed is that there is a connection between animal life and us as divine sentient beings. You see a lot of people with their pets, their animals, their cats and their dogs, and a lot of the time I've seen many instances where animals will be faster to rescue a person than actually a human being in some instances. So there is, the animal world and the human world has a very close connection, most definitely. And I would say what you've said is also very important. Now, for people, for people that are watching this and a bit like, wow, I didn't see all that in the movie. I didn't realize it was that deeply significant. From your point of view, how does it look for people to tune in to their spiritual self? Would you suggest meditation? How would you suggest that people connect with their divine power at this time? Because we are at critical times, and there's never been a time that it's been more important for people to connect with their divine creator. How would you suggest that people do that?
Okay. That's a big topic there, and I'll give in a good amount of reference, and especially top reference to help people. Yes,
Mhm.
and I would say there's a very good um, video document or documents on YouTube with the guy by the name of Gopi
We have
Krishna.
just a little bit of time. We're going to have to come
Yeah.
back for the last part of this section, and I will share with you some videos about people with supernatural powers so that you can tap into your own supernatural powers. And that's the purpose of this show. We'll see you in part 4. Stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe to Divine Truth News. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See you in part 4.